We've all endlessly heard about pursuing growth. It has been the staple meal for self-improvement because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Continuous growth and ascent to the top of the mountain. And we've also mentioned endlessly about pain and suffering as the gateway towards growth, as growth only happens in discomfort due to the perpetually kinetic and confrontative nature of cultivation. We all know this. It's nothing new to us. But what I've noticed is that although we've mentioned and described the general concept of what pain and suffering is like within our pursuit of betterment, we never really dive into the nuts and bolts of what those pain is all about or when and where those pain directly contributes towards growth. And that is where this video comes in. So without further ado, here are the 3 components of pain that directly contributes towards growth, or at the very least, precipitates or catalyzes the action towards growth. The first one is pressure. Now this can be briefly described as high stakes, high reward, and or limited window of time type of scenarios. Whether it is presenting in front of a huge audience, working on a brand new product that you have been assigned to solely design, or simply delivering a huge promise to yourself or others, it's undoubtedly a very nerve-wracking situation, one where you'll feel extensively nervous, agitated, and even restless to be in. It's moments where you have literally no choice but to perform for the sake of your reputation, your future, and everything that matters to you, including your own opinion or respect towards yourself. How pressure forces you to grow is that in those particular uncharted moments where the stakes are high, you are being made vividly or consciously aware of your capacity and capability within your own character. There is absolutely no partition that will be imposed between what you think you can do and what you can really do, or who you think you really are and who you actually are, regardless of your ego level. Everything will be brought into light and personal admission when you feel pressured. You will inadvertently acknowledge, or at the very least be forced to acknowledge, your own strengths and weaknesses, and will be innately compelled to finding ways to both maximize them and compensate for them respectively in their application, much of which will be done through any means possible and necessary. You can simply do a little experiment by inconsiderately or underestimatingly claiming a personally huge promise to yourself, or even better, towards your friends and family, whether it is about losing a lot of weight, getting good grades, or landing your dream job. You will immediately feel the insurmountably compelling feeling of doubt and uncertainty, yet also the underlying desire to prove your own capabilities. This will precipitate the unsolicited necessity to bring yourself to rise up to the occasion, regardless of how imposingly difficult the unexplored task is, as a lot of important metrics to your personal, esteem, and social needs are on the line. The second one is defeat or failure. You all know this was coming. Whether it is the lack of preparation, the interference of unfortunate circumstances, or just pure incompetency, failure is failure. You were simply unsuccessful in your attempts to achieve or obtain something of importance. Failure is arguably the sole component of pain where a lot of people will find themselves seemingly unable to fully recover from, as it represents a practical demonstration and also revelation of one's own ability and potential. Most people treat a single major failure as a thoroughly unadulterated estimate of the value of their existence. Coupled with its inevitability to occur on one's lifetime, this is what makes failure imminently dangerous, as it can either precipitate further deprecations or the one we all want and hoping for, redemptive reassessments. As many have said countless of times, to fail is never the end of the world. Failure is simply what you need to realign your focus, as it represents an opportunity to objectively identify your mistakes and make gradual improvements on them in order to perform better in the future. The narrative towards failure should not be considered as a permanently solidified defect to your ability and potential. Yes, we all have our own natural limitations, but that doesn't mean that we are unable to or don't have the rights to test those limits and explore the extent of our limitations with regards to other metric of abilities that can assist us in achieving what we want. What failure contributes and represents is the stepping stone towards further practical refinements, as it assists you by vividly pinpointing your weaknesses and illustrate where you need to put more work into that you may have not successfully identified beforehand. And finally, there is fatigue. I'd say fatigue is the one component of pain that is quite seldomly discussed or dived into, which seems a bit counterintuitive as it is arguably the most frequent components that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. Fatigue is basically circumstances where you seemingly just can't properly function or put work anymore or any longer to produce meaningful results. However, it is at this type of moments where the opportunity to improve your capacity for endurance and tolerance of discomfort can be maximized, and also the opportunity for you to realize and seek new methods to evolve further. Now, fatigue can be classified into 3 separate categories. One is where it precipitates pure blunt progression through you simply trying your best to steadily bulldoze beyond your initial or recorded limitations, such as working for an extra hour or running for another extra mile than you normally would. 2 is where you are just completely and comfortably acclimated to your normal routine, almost like breathing, to the point where it precipitates you to start searching for a newly reshuffled routine or constructing a completely new routine in order to put yourself in an unfamiliar environment, such as following a new workout program and ditching the old one. And 3 is where you are simply forced to frustratingly wait or endure the situation. And this eventually precipitates you to force yourself to let go of uncontrollable circumstances from interfering any further with your thoughts and wasting precious energy trying to get out of it. Like getting stuck in a traffic jam where you literally can't do shit about it but to endure until the torment ends. Though pressure and failure are not components of pain that you could encounter or construct for yourself or most people every day due to their more potently damaging effects, fatigue, on the other hand, is the one component that you could. And I'd say if you gentlemen want to pursue daily growth, no matter how minuscule, always look to pursue fatigue. Because 1, it's the simplest, and 2, it is also the most convenient, accessible, or applicable. But of course, let's be realistic here. Make sure the rewards are also something that you're looking to personally achieve or obtain. If you're forcing yourself to work for an extra hour but not getting paid for it, or not learning anything new or obtaining anything meaningful that can benefit you, then please remain objective and abandon your attempts. There are so much more endeavors that you can push yourselves in and get more rewarded at the end of the day. However, if you have no choice but to be forced to objectively gain nothing from all your efforts, then do it out of honor for your own moral and ethical code in life that you held a very strong standard in, showcasing tremendous integrity to those admirable ideals that you want to emulate in real life as a man. Because if there are absolutely no rewards that can drive you further, those consequential intrinsic values are the ones that can. Thank you for watching.